Welcome back, everybody. This is Actimer's first ever podcast. Coming in, my name is Patrick Humphreys.
My name is Mark Nielsen.
And today we'll just be going over the latest, new stuff that's coming out for video games, films, theater in Toronto and I guess surrounding areas.
Yeah, I'd say so.
All right, so my name is Patrick Humphreys. A little bit about me is I went to Toronto Film School. And right now we're just working on scripts, working on stuff for Actimer, and we're going to be setting it up from there.
Yeah.
What about you?
Same thing. We actually met at Toronto Film School, went to school together, so we know that about each other.
Is that what we know about each other?
Yes, we do. Very little. But yeah, no, I'm right now just doing a little bit of theater work, trying to get back into film and stuff like that, film and television, but right now just working on theater and stage stuff.
Sounds good. Good.
Should be good.
All right. So where should we start off? Actually, you know what? Where I want to start off first, just because it kind of would go into both. Let's start off with Star Wars.
Yeah.
Okay. So Star Wars, Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah.
Latest, I guess, film.
This is a good one too because we're on both sides of the aisle here.
Okay.
For Star Wars.
That's fair.
Yeah, you were not a big Last Jedi fan.
Hated Last Jedi.
I
thought it was the worst film.
Really liked it. I thought it was a really good movie.
Okay, before we get in, can you tell me why you think it was a good film? Because I still can't believe this.
I think the myth and the time between Star Wars, the old stories, and even the prequels now, to now, I think there's been way too much like fandemonium about Star Wars, and like the story of Luke Skywalker, he's become like this god character that everybody wanted to be just this superhero. That was like I've read things people wanted him to come in and just destroy everything, and he was actually there, and he's going to take down the First Order himself. I like the idea that he's not perfect. No one's perfect. There was no one person's going to come into this thing and just save the day. That it's going to take a lot of people. I like that group idea.
All right, I get that. You don't want to see Luke of all people as like this Christ figure.
Yeah, that just saves everybody.
I get that, but we have to this is contradicting Return of the Jedi, right? Which was that he was the only person that saw the good in Vader. So he was not going to give up on his father. He was not going to don't remember Vader, as before we didn't know this, murdered children.
Yeah, a lot of kids.
He murdered Tusken Raiders. He killed the men and the women too.
Yeah.
Right? So we've seen all this, and now we see Luke looking at him as no, Anakin Skywalker is still in there. So to now have it where this old man Luke, who should be now more wise, is now going, I sense darkness in this kid, and then immediately I'm going to murder him in his sleep. That's not the characteristics of Luke Skywalker.
But that happened momentarily. It was just at the wrong moment because the kid was right there and he woke up and then everything fell apart. But it was momentarily. Though you were right, that was his thought process.
Right.
He hit that for a minute. And then went, okay, no, wait a minute. I can't just kill a kid because he has darkness in him.
The unfortunate moment of waking up during a nap.
Yeah, then, the kid wakes up during his nap time and realized that he was trying to be killed. I don't know. I liked it. I thought that it was an interesting turn for the story. I don't want to see the same thing over and over again in Star Wars. That's my only thing. Biggest complaint about the Star Wars trailer?
Yeah.
Are we really going back to Palpatine?
Oh wait, so 1 second, just to make it clear for everybody, you're jumping now to Rise of Skywalker trailer.
I'm in Rise of Skywalker.
Okay.
We're going back to Palpatine?
I don't see why not.
Why?
Because we've killed off the most major villain in Last Jedi, if anything.
Yeah.
That whole thing was Snoke. But
you would think that why they're setting up that Ben Solo is gonna be the big bad villain, where there's an interesting dynamic of a Jedi, or not a Jedi, sorry, a Vader type character. You're getting a guy who's fighting good and bad. I did like that idea. Now it's going to be could be anything. It could be Force ghosts. I've heard that theory thrown around.
Yeah, Force ghosts.
That
Yeah,
it's
sure.
Luke and Palpatine are going to be against each other as Force ghosts kind of thing, and that's going to be instead of Palpatine actually being alive. I can see that, but I don't know. Don't get me anything wrong. I love Ian McDermott or whatever, the guy who
Yep.
actually played. He's
Yeah.
a great actor. Loved him. I thought he was a little hammy in the prequels. A little hammy as Sheev. I didn't actually know his name was Sheev. A little hammy, but I loved it. I thought it was like, yeah, no, this guy's awesome. So to have him back, cool. That is cool. But it was one of those. I was joking with my cousin the other day. That was one step short of having the Jar Jar Binks, the leader of the Gungans, doing his
Boss Nass. Please, Boss Nass.
I
Please, Boss Nass.
swear to God, that was like, you could do that too. You could have that be the end of that trailer, and I think Star Wars fans, the hardcore ones, would have been like, yeah, the Gungans are coming back, or whatever they are. Are they Gungans?
Yeah, Gungans. Yeah.
They're coming back. Like, it just felt so like, okay, what can we do to make people, what can J.J. Abrams do as a writer? What can I do to get people that are really upset about The Last Jedi back on board? And I think that was why we got Palpatine.
Okay.
again.
All right. To move back a little bit, the reason I think people didn't like The Last Jedi was, one, they introduced the character Rose. Everyone hates Rose for some reason. And I think the only reason why they hate Rose
I hate to be political and everything, because I find a lot of these, like a lot of the social movements can be a little bit ham-fisted. But that one felt so much just like, because she wasn't this gorgeous, hot Star Wars girl. Like, she wasn't Leia.
Right.
You want a girl to be a main character. They want her to be the hot Leia princess.
That's fair.
I felt there was a lot of, like, shitty dudes being like, "Ugh, Rose, she's so, we'll get her out of it, she's fat and maybe."
What's the basement dwellers?
Yeah,
It's
like
those-
it was just so unnecessary. Sure, I didn't think that story did feel kind of unnecessary.
Right.
But the vitriol that surrounded it was like, this is just,
I mean,
why?
that's toxic masculinity
Yeah.
101. Right?
Yeah,
Is
like
that
I think Daisy
people-
Ridley is a great actress.
Right.
I think she actually is. She has been.
I mean,
really
that's
good
your
in the
sex
series.
appeal. That's what you wanted.
But that is, like, even that smells a little bit of the sex appeal. You got to have a really cute, and that's why everybody fell in love with her right away. They got that Leia vibe because she's really cute.
Sure.
I hate to say it because it sounds terrible and it's not something that should be enforced and continued.
Right.
But it does feel very, like you were saying, basement dwellery. Like, these guys want the cute girl that the guy that Finn's gonna come in and save, and like, people would lose their minds, I think, Star Wars fans, if they did something having Finn and Poe having some kind of a relationship.
I mean, no, they're already banging. We know that. Finn and Poe are in a gay relationship.
Are they?
I mean, no, that's not canon. But
Oh, okay.
But
No, I was
let's
gonna
be
say,
honest.
is that something
that's
new?
The wink that Poe gives Finn
and you
when
know
talking
what?
about his coat.
Why
that
not?
is not
Like, I don't understand. I get, like, it again. It's that fanboy-ish. You're ruining my childhood to be progressive. But like, why not? Why
Okay.
can't we?
All right, but wait,
Why does it have to be Finn and? I mean, who knows? We don't actually have anything specific to say that they're actually like lovey-dovey for
Right,
each other,
yeah.
and nothing more than the sister relationship of Luke and Leia, where it was they're pretty much just friends.
I mean, they kissed anyways.
Yeah, but that was even more to get back at Han. That was more to make Han jealous than anything.
I mean, yes, when
That was her doing the Han to make him jealous, and
when the guy you like is jealous, kiss your brother. I think that's what we
yeah,
should take
that's
away
the
from
moral of that
from
story.
that story. But okay, Rose though. The reason I am not a fan of Rose is just the plain fact that she did nothing for the plot of The Last Jedi.
Yeah, that I do. I admit, as much as I enjoyed the sequence on the planet, the casino planet,
Right.
because that did feel like old school George Lucas Star Wars world building, like Cantina kind of style, trying to just show different parts of this universe. But it did feel completely unnecessary.
But it was unnecessary because plot wise, it did nothing.
Yeah.
From that start to that ending, nothing happened out of it. You could take that out, cut it out from the movie, the movie doesn't change. And if you do that, then you shouldn't have that in your film.
And really, even the argument of the whole plot device of them having just, stay just outside the range of the missiles or whatever, that whole, just to keep the tension blaring, it was kind of weird. I didn't mind it. I liked what was happening, so I didn't mind that as a plot device. Right. But I can see the argument that was very hammy. The idea that they just make sure that we're right outside, and if we burn enough fuel, eventually we're going to lose everybody.
Well, I mean, we've seen it done in other things. That was an episode in Battlestar Galactica where the Cylons were tracking the Galactica itself every time they did a jump, right? So they had to somehow figure out why and how that it works. That I'm okay with because I've seen it done, right? The point, though, and again, this is a plot hole, is that the leader, because Princess Leia, it's knocked out, right? We see she has magical force powers.
That I didn't like. That's the one part of the movie that I will join everybody in hatred of. Where did that come from?
Right.
Where did that come from?
But then we have this General Hodo or Holder or whatever. She will not tell anybody, tell Poe Dameron, one of the most, we know he's a good guy. Everyone on the Resistance knows he's not a traitor. Will not tell him the plan. And will not tell everyone else the plan in hopes that,
but what if
there might be a spy. Man. We don't know. We don't even know if there is a spy by the end of it. We just find out in Rogue One that they have then tracking technology that they're working on, right?
Is that actually what the reason why she didn't tell him? Because she thought he was a spy. I read that somewhere.
I think that's what it was she didn't tell anybody because we didn't know if someone was a spy. When really they just had tracking technology because they're the Empire. They can figure out all this stuff, right?
Yeah.
And then it goes to Poe Dameron then trying to rescue the Resistance, right? And then he gets knocked out, and then he wakes up on a ship going, oh man, everything is fine. And then we say Holder run off into space and do a kamikaze, which destroys everybody, which I'm the only part of the movie that I was okay with.
Okay, because I loved that.
That only part of the movie I'm okay with.
Give me that moment for 3 hours, JJ. Because that was so cool. It was one of those things that I didn't think of.
Yeah.
I never thought about what if you used your light speed ship as a battering ram?
Yeah.
How does that work? And that imagery and then the lack of sound, it was just, it was good. It was beautiful.
Very well done.
Yeah.
But then you have the whole Finn is okay and so is Rose in the ship. They're magically part of the one half of the ship that's not destroyed completely, right? Which is fine. Because they have character plot armor. Okay, but you bring up JJ. Here's the thing about JJ and how he does his stuff, though, is he's a very big mystery box person. He did that whole TED Talk on it. I watched it. It was great.
And he's not great at revealing the mystery box. He likes the mystery box.
Absolutely not. The whole thing with Force Awakens was we thought Finn was the Jedi the whole time because they shoved that down our throats. And then when you watch the movie, and then Finn had the lightsaber in the snow because that's what they shot. But then he's just using it as a weapon.
True.
And then we see Rey actually use the Force power. And we go, she's the one with the Force powers! Oh my god!
Did they never show that in the trailers?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
So that's JJ's style of thinking. And this is where we go now into his trailer for Episode 9.
Yeah.
We hear Palpatine's voice. Doesn't mean he's in the movie, right?
That's the one thing I can see easily.
Yeah.
Is that they've said Mark Hamill's going to be back as Luke. So you got to assume, because he died in Last Jedi, that he's going to be back as a Force ghost, sort of like a Yoda-esque training of of Rey.
Right.
So I can see it being that now Ben has gone so far to the dark side that the Emperor is now there training him as the ultimate bad guy, kind of, and he's not necessarily a main character. But if it's this, they're going to the Death Star and he's been hiding out there, building up his armor, his power, or his army, or something. That's gonna be what is? happening, you
Well,
guys?
I mean, depending on if you follow the Clone Wars TV show, which is
that's the thing. I am not a huge Star Wars fan.
right.
That's one thing.
Ladies
I
and
probably
gentlemen,
should
that is
preface
me.
right at the beginning.
I
Yes.
am the huge Star Wars fan.
As
We're talking about it
not
first.
a huge Star Wars fan, as a guy who just watches the movies, I think they're pretty good.
Yeah.
They're fun. When I was a kid, I loved the prequels, and then as I got older, I realized, oh, they're not as good as I remember. But so I have
Blasphemy, but
no
okay.
like. I follow the movies, I follow the stories, I follow the books, the TV show. I don't do any of that.
Right.
So I understand from your side where you do follow all that. There is a lot of stuff happening that is probably like you're ruining it a little bit.
Right. Well, so to talk about then like the Clone Wars. So Star Wars Celebration happened last weekend.
Did it?
Yeah, and that's where we saw the the
Oh,
trailer
yeah,
comes
sorry.
out.
Sorry,
That's where we
sorry.
saw the Fallen Order, which we'll
Yep.
touch on in a bit. Trailer comes out, and we saw. I just noticed the Clone Wars new season, which I thought Clone Wars was done 2 years ago. I actually thought it was completely done once Ahsoka left, but I guess she's not. So now Ahsoka's back, but the whole thing with Palpatine is that he was a firm believer of the rule of two. There can only be one Sith, two Sith, one master, one apprentice, right? Palpatine was a huge follower of this, unless you looking at the Clone Wars, because then you had like Dooku around the same time as Asajj Ventress, and then Grievous shows up, but he's not really a Sith, and all this other
Yeah.
stuff. You're touching on then semantics. So this is though where I feel like we're going now into the rule of two still, because Snoke is dead.
Okay.
The person that was supposed to be, which we never even saw him pick up a lightsaber or use force. Well, we saw him use some force powers, right? But so I guess he was a Sith in that sense.
But really, prior to the prequels, did you ever see the Emperor do anything that crazy? I guess you did. Yeah. Like, was he ever... I mean, the prequels, they went nuts and had the Yoda-Palpatine fight at the end.
The Senate fight
was
was
like,
throwing
what is
these chairs.
I get that CGI exists now, Lucas, but please tone it down just a little bit. That was so much. It was, okay, Yoda is all of a sudden some super ninja that
Yeah.
can flip and jump. And so, yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
So but that's where I think it's going is, like you said, Luke is going to come back and he's going to help train Rey in that aspect,
Mm-hmm.
and then you'll have Palpatine come back and he's like, "You've lost your way. I'm going to teach you the ways of the Sith." Because I think he's dead. I feel like
But
he is dead.
doesn't that feel sort of anticlimactic to have Ben lose his master to then in the next and final movie? This is supposed to be it. This is the it for Star Wars of Luke the Skywalker story.
Sure.
To then have him for the final movie now have a new apprentice. You would assume he would now be the guy who would either have an apprentice himself,
Right.
or just be the master. Like, I don't necessarily want to see Ben be whiny Ben. I gotta try and be better. We got that for 1 and 2, or 7 and 8.
Yeah.
9 should really be him dominating, being Darth Vader, basically, being the Vader that he's tried to be this whole series.
I think that's where the Knights of Ren come in.
Are they going to touch on that though? Because they haven't talked about that at all.
So in the trailer,
in this series, in the movies,
Yeah.
again, I'm talking movies. Like I know that they
showed the flashback
throughout all that and
Yeah.
everything. But in the movies, they haven't really talked about the Knights of Ren. They've shown and talked about the fact that he took people with him.
Yeah.
But they've never actually said the words the Knights of Ren. Like I don't think
I think they have.
Have they?
I think Snoke brought up Knights of Ren, and that's why we were all very
yeah,
okay.
he might have.
And then we had the flashback of him and those guys behind him, and they were the Knights of Ren. But so on the trailer though for Rise of Skywalker,
Mm-hmm.
You see Rey in like that desert, which is probably either Tatooine or that or Jakku,
It
or
could be
you know
Jakku.
where she's from,
There
right?
could be some totally new.
Totally new desert planet.
New
New
desert,
desert planet. From the creators of J.J. Abrams comes New Desert
New
Planet.
Desert planet.
We see her with the lightsaber. It's very like, oh my god, what's happening? And we see like this TIE fighter type thing coming at her. We don't see who's piloting it. We see dark gloves on it, so everyone is probably going to be expecting Kylo Ren when it's probably going to be a Knight of Ren.
Yeah.
So then she's probably just like, she's now fighting.
I
the
do
Knights
love
of
the
Ren.
idea of Knights of Ren.
Yeah, me too.
Give me that. I thought my idea. I was worried that in The Last Jedi, those soldiers in Snoke's room, the guys, the cool ones, I was nervous that those were the Knights of Ren. That Snoke was like, yeah, no, they're mine now.
Yeah.
These guys are kind of cool. They're mine.
They're,
Like, they're
terrible
my
fighters.
Yeah, and then
That
when
was
they
a
died, it was
terrible
like,
fight
oh, that's it? Like, if that was the Knights of Ren, that was it? They died that quickly? So it would be nice to see. I think it would be cool to see him have a group, not just an apprentice, a group of guys that he is training, guys and girls, I guess, that he's training to be super evil.
Yeah.
And they're sort of his bodyguard, his squad. As opposed to just stormtroopers or something, standing with
Yeah.
blasters. It'd be cool to see guys minions that he can send out and stuff.
Yeah.
But I really just hope it's not, he's an apprentice again, that you have so much more to learn. We don't have that much time. We've got 2.5, 3 hours max to
Yeah,
wrap
that's
up
true.
this story, right? Like, you're wrapping up the story. That's a Game of Thrones, not to jump around, but that's a Game of Thrones type thing. There's not a lot of time left to wrap up this story, so you
Right.
kind of got to get to it.
Right.
Can't be introducing new storylines for Ben, right? He's got to get in there and start doing some cool stuff, or that's going to be a wasted character
I think
that killed one of the most iconic characters in all of Star Wars in the very first movie. Like, there needs
Yeah,
to be
that's
a
true.
nice, satisfying conclusion, good or bad, like good dark side or light side, whatever
Right.
there needs to be a conclusion there.
I think though that's where the name of the movie comes in.
I love those theories. I do.
Is remember, like, we don't know that Rey is a Skywalker. What we do know though is Ben is a Skywalker.
Mhm.
You can say he's a Solo because of the father side, but what's not to say that he's Ben Skywalker, right? So I think Rise of Skywalker might be entailed towards him
See,
rather than Rey.
Because you're a notorious, you don't like to watch a ton of, aren't you? Big
I
trailer.
only watched this one because it was a teaser.
Yeah,
That was
because
it.
I don't want to. Because there's a theory that I've heard. It was the Kevin Smith theory. Have you heard this?
No, go on. What is it?
He had a theory. I've heard other places as well that he thinks the rise of Skywalkers is not. We're no longer we did. Luke was the last Jedi.
Okay.
He was the Jedi are gone, and now the sacred texts are gone. Being a Jedi is gone, but you still have people with the ability to access the Force. Those people are now going to be called Skywalkers. That's the new religion. Is the Skywalker religion.
Okay, all right.
And that you become you're no longer becoming a Jedi. You're training to become a Skywalker.
Okay.
I think I loved that idea. I think
love that
that's
idea,
really
too.
cool, and it's a really beautiful way to cap off the series. That there is no end to Star Wars. We don't have Jedi anymore we focus just on the light side and you stay away from the dark. And this is Skywalker. We're understanding everything and understanding that there is a reason for the dark side, but you need to focus on the light. Like, I loved that idea. That it's the new, basically you're starting a new religion kind of thing.
Okay, I have so many questions here. Where to start off? Okay, simple. Okay, so we have now. Then let's say this is right. We'll have the religion of Skywalker.
Yeah.
Right.
You become a Skywalker, yeah.
We then have now in Rian Johnson's film that we see Skywalker as someone that would not see past the dark side and is willing to kill a young person. That kind of tarnishes then why people would want to become a Skywalker, or at least Ben, why he would want to then move to a Skywalker.
See, that's I think fans in general of Star Wars, super fans, I think you're getting caught up too much on the fact that he had that moment.
Absolutely not.
He had a moment that he was going. What did he do ultimately? He turned off the lightsaber and went, I can't kill a
The
child.
lightsaber had to be turned on at some point.
Yeah, it turned on, but he turned it off.
Right.
It's not, he didn't actually, everyone's going, he's a child murderer. He didn't murder the child, though.
Right, yeah, of course.
His father was the child murderer. And again, his father, you have that DNA. It doesn't matter how good Luke is. You have a bit of your father in you, and I like the idea that everything isn't just there is a right way and a wrong way. That there is, you have to do, the right way isn't always right. There is wrong, you can do wrong things and still be right. But it's, I don't know, I liked it. I liked the idea.
Well, then I want the rise of Windu, because...
See, that's what, like, come on, if you're
Wait.
giving me Palpatine back, give me Mace Windu back.
Here's the thing. One,
Or a
for
Windu.
everybody
Give
out
me
there,
a Windu. How have we not had
Windu is
another
not dead.
Windu?
Because Windu is not dead, and if anyone says otherwise, I will fight you. Fight me. Windu, and this is going into nerd lore here, right? Is out of the different fighting styles of the Jedi during the Republic, Windu created his own style, and
That's why he's the only human being in the world of Star Wars that had a purple lightsaber?
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Well, no, it's because he's Samuel L. Jackson. But
Samuel L. Jackson is Samuel L. Jackson.
The reason, though, why I would like more of a Windu religion would be because his style was the balance between darkness and light. You had to go over to the dark, but control it and come back to the light. That was his whole point of his fighting style, was to use anger but control, right? Which is where we would see Luke Skywalker and Anakin Skywalker.
Yeah.
And I think that's where you see that Skywalker religion, is people are focusing then on Luke, but you have to go from Anakin to Luke,
Yeah.
child murderer, to able to see that his dad, who is a child murderer, is not such a bad guy.
Yeah. It's very true.
There's a gray somewhere, and that will probably be where the Skywalker then is. Okay, I think that's enough about Rise of the Skywalker.
Yeah, that was a long
Um,
little chunk.
Yeah. Let's then go on to then the Fallen Order,
Yeah.
the Jedi Fallen Order, which if anyone hasn't seen it yet, what this is a new video game, right, by EA. So more than likely it's going to get canceled at some point in time.
Be nervous.
Right?
Be skeptical of everything you hear.
Especially because the release date is this year. So going to be canceled at some point in time. But it is supposed to be set shortly after Revenge of the Sith. And you kind of follow this guy who, I guess, just learns that he's a Jedi. Now that all the Jedi are supposed to be destroyed, he's going to become a Jedi by some master. And then there's going to be a bad guy at the end. And then he's going to have to fight him with a lightsaber. I'm going to assume that's just the whole premise of the game. It's going to be...
Very in-depth of you.
Going to be very in-depth. Thank you. It's going to be Force Unleashed, but you're going to be learning everything instead of already knowing everything.
Yeah.
So you saw the trailer for it.
Saw the trailer.
What did you think?
A little underwhelmed.
Yeah?
Yeah, I was a little underwhelmed. I don't know. No gameplay.
Yeah,
which
that's
is
the big
really
problem.
like, and it being no gameplay, even the cinematic style didn't blow me away that much. Like, if you're gonna go for, we're not gonna show you any gameplay. We want to give you just a taste of the world kind of thing. Give me like the prettiest thing you can possibly give me.
Right.
This felt like it could be a cutscene from a video game or something. Like, I don't know. I wasn't blown away. The lead character, very boring. Like, what a boring choice.
Really?
Yeah. Again, I don't want to jump on that train of
Yeah.
ugh, fuck it. He's a white guy.
Right, yeah, okay.
It's nothing like he's the most generic white guy you could think of. Sure, have a white guy. I mean, you can't say no to that. Like,
Sure.
you can't tell people you can't do that. But think of somebody a little more interesting. He looks like a rich boy. Like, he looks like a Bryce or something. Like, he just looks like that rich douchey kid that we all know. Like, I don't know. I thought it was such a of a character like choice.
Okay.
Not saying that it had to be some crazy it's this crazy lady that's doing there's some crazy story. Just anybody. Just give me anybody. You want to give me a generic person? Just give me a generic person, but not the most generic white man you've ever seen. He looks generic. He sounds generic. It's just ugh.
Okay,
Who
I can see
thought
that.
of that?
All right, I can see it. No, I can see it.
But I would assume it's probably EA wanting to make a incredibly popular, sells really well, Star Wars game and to focus on, a big demographic, which is your white Star Wars fans.
No, yeah, you hit the nail on the head.
Yeah,
That's who
like-
they're kind of.
And I don't mean that as a
pandering
social, political message or anything. I mean, they're looking at where we're going to make the most money.
Right.
And that's by targeting our largest audience, which is, 20 to 40, 50-year-old guys.
Yeah.
White guys that are huge Star Wars fans, right?
So-
Like, that's the bulk of Star Wars fans.
Well, here's the thing. I was talking.
Not saying there aren't other kinds, like other races,
Oh, yeah.
ethnicities, all that, everything. But it's just, when you look, if you were to break it down into a pie chart, overwhelmingly, it's a lot of white dudes.
Absolutely.
So I can understand that they want to market to those, because that's where you're going to get guaranteed money from.
Yeah.
But come on, do something interesting.
Yeah, that's fair. So, okay, the thing. I was talking about this with my buddy, and who didn't see the trailer for it. And I was talking to him like, so there's a new Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. We've been talking about before, but there was finally the trailer. And he goes, awesome. I can't wait to create my character and like create a lightsaber. And I go, no.
Yeah.
This is a narrative story-driven game. You play as this guy, and I think you only get
That's the one
this
thing.
lightsaber.
Yeah, I think that's the one thing that's sort of being lost in the way that they're marketing this.
Yeah.
I mean, it's still very early on. They've just started showing stuff. But the marketing makes it seem like, are you ready to become a Jedi? Like,
Yeah.
you're become a Jedi. We're going to train to be our own Jedi. But you're right. You're not choosing, you're not customizing a character, deciding what you want in your lightsaber and how it works. But no, you're getting a character, and you're making him
Yeah.
become, which is a bit of a downer. Like, that would have been,
It's a downgrade.
yeah, like
Yeah.
that would have been a bit of a more interesting idea, I think.
Yeah.
You make your own character, man, woman, with skin color, race, anything, like everything. Come up with, all the different stuff. Like, I'm sure there's all kinds of Star Wars religions in Star Wars. Like,
Yeah, okay.
just different choices, character choices, like a Skyrim type.
Right.
But Star Wars. So I love the idea that they're saying there's no microtransactions, there's no loot boxes, it's completely single player. I love that idea because I love single player games. Get me more
Yeah.
single player driven stories, and that's where you fall into that when you get to start character customization stuff. It starts to become, here's the base options, but then if you pay $10, you can get all this cool stuff to make
Yeah.
it look cooler.
Well, I think that touches though back onto your original point is they're forcing us to make this play as this person for the pandering down to the white people,
Yeah.
right? Like us.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I guess
we're gonna buy this.
This is audio only, so if you haven't seen a picture of us, we are both white men.
We're completely
We're very
strongly
basic white men.
And that's the thing though. Like to us, it's like cool. You play as a white guy,
Yeah.
like in every other video game. But
For me, it's not a big deal because I am that generic
Right.
white man.
But
so
unless-
it's not. But it is. I can see that being a real bummer for females.
Yeah.
For anybody that's not a white guy.
literally anybody else.
Anybody that is not a white guy. I can see that being like, really? Like,
Yeah.
like being an actual. Come on.
Yeah.
Seriously, I have to do this again.
Yeah.
We don't think of it. We just go, oh, that's kind of a weird.
We just go,
choice.
oh, that's a bummer, but that's
Yeah.
because it's for us.
Yeah, we don't. Yeah,
Right?
Exactly. But I can totally see it. It's, come on, give people the choice to at least experience the game they want to experience, like
Right.
the way they want to
Well,
experience it.
it's like a Mass Effect game, right? Like they should have been where it's like, hey, you can create it the way that you
Again, no
want.
gameplay
Right.
shown, but I got a heavy Mass Effect vibe.
Oh, I did not at all.
No,
Absolutely
I got
not from EA.
Maybe not from the trailer, like the story. I don't mean that. I mean from the look of the game. I got a very like Mass Effect Andromeda?
Yeah, Mass Effect Andromeda.
I got a very Andromeda vibe from the graphics of the game. Or from the trailer, I guess, because we don't even know if that's gameplay. It didn't feel like when we saw. Do you remember years ago when there was the leaks for Star Wars 1313 or?
It looks
or whatever?
exactly like that.
I would say that one looked better. Like
Really?
it looked like it was a step. I don't know. It just felt kind of plasticky a little bit.
But that was funny because 1313 was in the kind of game style of
Yeah, of this. Yeah, but I was so excited when
No,
I
no, I was
saw
going to say
that.
Mass Effect. Because it was very cover shooter. You'd go
Yeah.
in, almost like Gears of War.
But it was very single player focused.
Exactly. Yeah, absolutely.
Like what we're getting now, which
Yeah.
and I love. I want that because I'm not a big. I don't want to play these Titanfall games or not Titanfall. What was the new one that just came out? You're in the mechs flying around.
Apex Legends? Oh, Anthem.
Anthem, yeah.
Oh,
I
yeah,
don't
yeah.
want to play those Anthem type games, the Fortnites of the world. I don't like those games
Yeah.
because being an adult now, I mean, I'm not saying I have a ton of things I'm doing in my life, but as an adult, I'm not as focused on playing video games and getting better at video games. Whereas in in Fortnite, the kids that are playing them, they're coming home after school and playing 5 hours of Fortnite a night and getting really good because like I just want to play. I just want to have fun.
Yeah.
I don't want to have to be really really good to then enjoy myself. I just want to be able to turn on my game, and if I'm good at it, I'm good at it. If I'm not, I'm not.
Yeah.
But I'm still having fun.
Absolutely.
And that's why I like single player stories because I want to sit back and work at my own pace. I don't want to have to, I bought this game 2 weeks after launch. There's already people max level, and now I'm just going to die every 5 seconds when I log in because all the main guys are going to beat you.
Yeah.
I like these single player, and I hope that this brings it over. Like, I have a lot of hope for this game. I really hope it does really, really, really well because I want more games like this. I do want more games that are focused on just you have fun. Don't worry about... I love co-op games. I like the idea of playing with a friend or
Sure.
a couple of friends.
Yeah.
But I don't want to be forced to play with people.
So here's the thing. And this is hard for me to say as a huge Star Wars fan because obviously I just want Star Wars games, and we haven't gotten a good one in a long time. Bought Battlefront 1 on release, bought Battlefront 2 on release. The single player for Battlefront 2 I enjoyed. It was short.
Yes, I tried it. I liked
too
it.
many stealth missions for a game that I should just be shooting people in the face.
Yeah.
But again, it was mostly multiplayer. Now this is why though I want this to fail.
Oh, you want this to fail?
Only for the fact that I don't want EA to have this anymore. They've canceled too many games that would have been good because it wasn't going to make the money down the road.
Can you break a licensing agreement though? If it was to fail,
Right.
can Disney, or is it Disney?
Yeah, it's Disney.
Disney.
Yeah.
Can Disney void a contract that they signed? Like, you're still under they have a 10-year licensing agreement or whatever. We're in year what?
We're not 10 years yet.
It feels like it because it feels like it's been 10 years since a Star Wars game came out. I don't know. I don't know if that necessarily. I could be wrong. I could be
Right.
completely wrong. And EA or Disney could walk in and go, yeah, no, we don't want you making our games anymore.
Well, I think
But
what's
I feel like that's not I feel like they signed an agreement, and you can be upset and you can be very angry and like want us to make a good game. But I don't think you can walk in and go, contract is now void. We're going with this company now. They're going to have exclusive license.
I am talking out of my ass here for this portion. What I think could happen in that sort of case is if this bombs dramatically, then EA is going to go, we're done making Star Wars games, right? So then whatever time they have left, they would then go to Disney and
But
be
that's the
like,
thing.
we want to get out of
Has
this contract.
Battlefront 1 and 2, outside of critical reception, have they bombed financially?
I think there was so much negative backlash for them that, like, again, the loot boxes.
Places like EA, like the big companies, sadly, places like Bethesda now, too, like those big companies, they don't necessarily care about the critical quality of the game as much as they want us to believe.
Well, I mean, I think
EA
they do.
especially. I don't think so. I think the people that are pulling that are making the big decisions about where to put money and what games should be made and I think it really comes down to how much money this is. How much money have our loot boxes? Like that is a big thing. How much money this game is making us. And if it's making a ton of money and people are buying millions of dollars worth of loot boxes all the time, I don't think they necessarily care if people are whining and complaining. If the whining and complaining then turns into lost revenue, then they start listening and they start going, we're listening to our fans. We care about you. But they care about you when you stop spending money.
Which is when all the arguments then come in from everybody that's playing video games, right?
Yeah.
Same thing just happened with Elder Scrolls Blades, right? You brought up Bethesda, right? Which is good. Bethesda, they have their new Starfield game coming out. I think next year or the year after. And then we got, luckily, the next Elder Scrolls that I'm super excited about.
Yeah, but that's
a decade in the future.
Yeah, it's 10 years from now.
But before that, though, they brought in Elder Scrolls Blades, right? Free-to-play game. I was very lucky. I got to play it day of one, right? I was into that whole, you get the loot, you get the boxes. You have to spend 3 hours of real time to unlock one box. And it was shitty because I already got to the max of my boxes
and they
in
want
a day.
And they want that money, right? Like it's shows.
But here's the thing though. So many people were like, no, this is bad. They fixed it. They moved it to 1 hour boxes. A lot of people are saying that this like mechanic in general is broken. But people have to understand the game is free. They have to make money somehow.
There's a slightly different argument, I think, to be made for games like that. For games that are free to play, and then the way they make their money is through. I don't like games that I'm spending $69.99 on, and then I also have the ability to buy loot boxes and buy customization stuff. I mean, customization is not that bad. Because
customization, I'm perfectly fine with it.
Yeah, I don't care. I'm just not going to buy it.
Yeah.
But game improvements, you can buy an attachment for your gun or certain cooldown aspects for magic stuff.
Yeah.
Like that to me is unfair because now you're telling people if you want to jump into the game and really have the most fun you can, you got to spend $200 on this game.
Well, that's what happened with what was it? Shadows of Mordor.
Yeah, Mordor was a big one.
And then Assassin's Creed at the beginning.
Yeah.
And that was the time where I pre-ordered both those games. I got them day one, but that was the only time I've ever left the country, was at that time. And I was trying to read all those articles, and everybody hated it. By the time I got back, it was, we fixed these issues. And I tried to play Shadows of Mordor, though, first, before I left.
And the problem is, without actually looking at any kind of financial numbers, which I don't think are available to the public,
right?
It's hard to prove the point, like what I was saying. It is hard to prove that, because it sounds like we're listening to you guys. We really are. We're going to change it. But in my mind, I'm thinking the reason they're changing it is because people are getting angry and not buying as many loot boxes. So they need to switch that. They need to flip that switch again so that people are happy to spend money on loot boxes. I don't mind this. I'll spend 99 cents here and there. We got to get them back to giving us money willingly and happily.
I think it's by company. And it's by company, and then it's also we have to play dumb. So it's every time a mistake happens is, oh, that slipped by our radar. We're going to fix this right away.
Yeah.
Right? And then they go, all right, what can we back away so that we can make money still, but not take out loot boxes entirely, unlike in Assassin's Creed Origins, which I'm pretty sure just took them out completely.
Yeah.
And it's like, good? Because it's already a good game. I loved it. I played many hours. I platinumed that game. I loved it. But I didn't have to deal with the loot boxes, so I don't know what the shitty game was like beforehand.
Yeah. Yeah, no, and it's not, you're right, it is totally by company. Like, Bethesda used to be a phenomenal, they used to be a fan-loved company. Everyone loved Bethesda.
Horse Armor.
They made phenomenal games, and everyone loved it, and they really felt like they cared about their fans. But then, over the last probably 5-10 years, probably more 5 years, you're starting to realize, you're seeing the things that are, that's why are we doing that?
Right.
Why are we making Skyrim for every single possible platform? Have it for, you can get it anywhere. There's going to be a Skyrim phone game eventually.
I sure hope so. Well, this is the Switch, right? It's already on your tablets.
They poured it to every possible system. Which you can make the argument of, they're buying it. They're buying it. But they're making it because, they're buying it. They're making it because people are buying it. But it just feels like we know we can sell this to the hardcore fans of Skyrim that are like, now I have another way I can play it.
That's me.
It's mostly, especially for the, like, when it comes out for Switch and stuff. When it comes out for more portable devices, it really does feel like you're goading the super fans, the ones that almost have almost a problem,
Yeah.
into, like, hey, you can play it even more now. Like, did you ever watch the South Park episode on freemium games?
No, I didn't.
Phenomenal episode. It was about went through the whole shit show that is
Okay.
microtransactions and freemium games.
Okay.
And it was the whole idea of these companies that make these games for free, especially where you're paying to get to refill your energy so you can buy. They're not looking for you and I to spend 99 cents.
Right.
They're looking for that one person that's going to spend. Yes,
the big whale.
they're going to spend $1,000.
Oh, okay.
But they're going to spend $1,000 every week. They're going to spend. They don't want your 99 cents.
No.
They don't want that. That's why do you think games offer those things that are $300 for 10,000 gold pieces?
It's the best value.
Because somebody will buy it.
Yeah.
They're looking for that one person that will buy it. Because it seems insane to me when you go to those games and it's like, okay, who's like the list of it is 99 cents, $1, $2, $3, and then it just keeps going and going. And it's who is buying this much for this no-name freemium game? But that's what they're looking for. Addicts. They're looking for video game addicts.
Well, that's the thing. As a constant
or gambling addicts almost.
As a constant new player for phone games, like I love phone games. I'll play them for a good week unless I don't like them or they're not a big enough company for me. Like Ubisoft brought out an Assassin's Creed phone game. I'm still playing it, right?
Yeah.
But like, here's the thing though. That's where you get into it, where it's like I've pre-registered for Diablo Immortal. Don't know when that's going to come out, but I pre-registered for it. The Harry Potter Wizards Unite. You know, that just was beta in Australia this morning. But the thing is, that's just a Pokemon Go game, which I play, right? And like, I have all these different, like pre-registered games because I just love to try and play these phone games.
Yeah.
And as a constant one that I see is just like as you were saying, I swear they copy and paste this from every mobile game. You go into the store and it's the middle one is most popular.
Yeah.
And then the last one is best value.
Best value.
And it's literally the same thing in every single one.
Yep.
And you're right. It's just to grab that.
It's to grab the one person that really has nothing else going on, and the way it's honestly it's to grab depressed people.
Yeah.
It's to grab people that this is their enjoyment in the day.
Well, gamblers,
playing this game,
addicts.
It depends exactly. It's gambling.
Right?
It's that same addiction that you're feeding. When you the good example would be games like what was it, the Simpsons game, the
Tap Out?
Was it Tap Out?
I think Simpsons Tap Out.
Something like that, where it was literally it's a plot of this like a subdivision type plot, a city builder, but it wasn't even a city builder. It was just log on every 30 seconds and click the 6 things to get your coins. And then there's nothing to do. And then 2 minutes later, you get the buzz.
Yeah.
And you click and you get more tokens. And then eventually, I've got enough tokens to buy the school and Moe's Bar and all this stuff. And they're not looking for you and I who are like, I'm like 10 coins away from building a school. So, I'll spend 99 cents to just fill it up. But I'll get it now. They're looking for the people that are like, I want everything. Their brain is
fast track everything.
Yeah, I just want to play. I like playing. I like hitting the button and hearing the noise and seeing the level up and getting to choose something, getting to choose a new building.
I feel like we should probably say that we're not against these type of games.
As long as they have
games.
Yes, as long as they have a legitimate gaming aspect.
Yes, just because it's one of those like dollar per hour. Like that's how I would look at it. I've put money into Assassin's Creed. I have
mobile games that I've put money into, and I would say it was silly of me to do, but it was just for quick enjoyment, and it was 99 cents. It was
right.
I've been playing for a game, and I was kind of into it, and I had just hit the end of my energy level or something, and I've put $1 to fill up the energy so I can keep playing.
Yeah.
But I make sure not to do that multiple times.
No, absolutely not.
Because then that's where you fall into that pattern.
Yeah.
I've had a few friends that I've known that have played, I've played the same mobile games as them. And you see their like activity, and it's one of those, you're playing this too much.
Yeah.
This isn't a game to you anymore. Like I don't see where your enjoyment is of this.
Well, that was like Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. When that first came out, I was on it.
You loved that game.
Religiously.
Yeah.
I probably played it at school when we were together.
Yeah.
And the thing was with that, but I even played it when I was at work in retail, and then I got my coworkers to play with me because they were big Star Wars fans. But then it got to the point where it's like, he was bringing up like, oh, like I just put money into this, and I'm like, you just started playing. It's like I've been playing for like a couple years. I'll put like $10 here, $10 here, just because it's like a.
I mean, that's the problem.
It's fun.
How can we tell people what their enjoyment is? Maybe that is enjoyment for people. Maybe that is something that makes them happy and leave me alone. I'm getting a little bit of enjoyment into this.
Yeah.
I don't care. But there definitely are cases where that is exploitative. You're doing that on purpose. You're doing that specifically because you know you're going to find a few people that are going to pay
whale amounts
way
of money.
more money. Like you're going to get 1 million viewers worth of money out of 2 or 3 people because they're just going to keep spending money.
Yeah.
Which is sad. It's very sad.
Okay, probably we're good for that that front, but I don't want to drag on to the I guess newer type bigger games. We were talking about this actually a little bit earlier. Level Up, the student game showcase in Toronto was yesterday.
Yeah.
For people that don't know, that is April 17th. You didn't get to go. Unfortunately, you were sick, so I had to go solo. Star Wars reference, and I had a blast of a time.
Yeah. So explain what it is, because I've got a little blurb on here. I looked it up before the show.
Yeah.
All it said was Level Up showcases the first event of its kind in Canada that showcases the most talented students in game design, animation, computer science programs. From colleges and universities across Ontario. This event has become synonymous with new creative talent and provides a once-in-a-lifetime chance for students to show off their creations to the world.
Yeah.
So this seems like this is a place where we're sort of cutting the fat out and you're finding the best of the best new and upcoming video game designers and animation and people. Like, it seems like it's you're getting only the good stuff. It seems.
Ooh, no.
Not to disparage anybody that was a part of that, but it feels like
I'm gonna say that's no, not all of them were good. Actually, some of the games weren't even like games.
Okay.
Like some people and again, I'm gonna have to. I'll stop here just to say what these people do is they're students, right? I don't want to badmouth any of them because, as they all brought up, they have to do this as well as their coursework. So this is not, a 3 month solid. They're getting paid nine to 5. They're working on this. This is like 9 to 9. They're working on their coursework, and then from 10 to maybe 12, I'm going to assume they're working on this.
Yeah.
Right, with their group people. So some games were a lot better than other games, right? Because there was like a game, I think there was a couple groups that had like 6 people on there, and they all had matching t-shirts, and it was fun. And then I would walk over and I'd see a group of like 2 people, and it's just like, this game looks like something 2 people would make in a month,
Mm-hmm.
And so I understood that.
And it, being students, the first time you create something, most of the time it's not going to be very good.
No, absolutely.
There's no issue in that. There's no problem with that. There's no, well, now I suck and I can't do this. You got to start somewhere. So there is no, this game sucked, so these people are terrible and they're never going to get it. It was just, it was your first try. It was your stepping stone.
Even the people that I met, and that was the thing, you would know what games were huge and big because there was a flock of like people around them, and I couldn't play the game.
Mm-hmm.
So I walked towards the ones that don't have anybody there, and I could actually talk to the developers and ask them how it was.
Yeah.
And it was unfortunately though, 9 times out of 10, those were the ones where it's like, this is my game, and it's like, it's not a game, it's a demo, and it's like, it was a brief demo of like, this is what I can do, this is what it can do, and it's like, okay, like I get it, like, but that's not to say it wasn't a game. Like one of the first ones that I played, it was some sort of like asteroids, but soccer, right? So I guess you could kind of say it was just that. What was that car one? Rocket League.
Yeah.
Where it was cars and soccer.
Car soccer.
This
yeah.
one was spaceships and soccer.
Spaceships,
where
soccer?
but where you would actually fire lasers and it would hit the ball. You couldn't actually physically hit the ball.
Okay.
But and again, this was a demo. This was a very early version, so I picked like the shittiest ship. No one told me, and everyone else picked like the fastest ship, and I'm just like, I am slow as shit. And I was carrying my team, and I still lost because I couldn't do anything.
Yeah.
Right. And it was great though. I got to talk to the guys, and then I would actually get able to go to one which looked phenomenal. Like
Yeah.
I went up to the guys, and they're just like. They're like, so I'm like, what do you like? Tell me about your game first before I play it, because everybody really wanted you to play the game, but of course you want to talk to them first. And they would just be like, okay, so this is it. We wanted it to be a mix between Dark Souls, God of War, and Assassin's Creed. And I'm like, those are 3 completely different video games. Can you explain to me how that works? And he goes, no, well, we wanted the combat systems to kind of become more one. And I'm like, I get it, I guess. It's just a dodge hack and slash. And so I went up, and it was literally what it is. It was pretty much God of War.
Yeah.
You would just attack, you would dodge, roll, and, it was fun. For what it was, everything was there. What I liked about it was everything was different. You would have a shooter, you would have a sandbox, you would have like a one of those like jumping over obstacles until you hit something type game, like a runner game. You had all these different types of games all in one. And of course, Ubisoft was there, Zynga was there, AMD was there, Unity was there.
Yeah.
And of course, why were they all there was, like you said, they're trying to get like the new people
You're
to
trying to
filter
find
them down and then to steal them after
exactly.
school.
To steal them.
Right?
That's exactly
it's
what
a
these
showcase.
things are, right?
That's
Yeah.
literally what it is for students. I'd say if anyone could ever go to like a game showcase like this, absolutely go.
Mm-hmm.
It was free. It was fun. You got some free swag from obviously Ubisoft, and Xbox was there, so it was fun. But yeah, I mean that was just kind of the whole shebang.
A lot
It was
of
really good.
VR games, or is it mostly regular games? Like
Wait.
what kind of stuff?
Way more VR games than I expected.
Oh, yeah?
And I think
Okay.
that's because VR is obviously coming up on the
Because
rise.
yeah, it's the new.
Which
the new
for me
hot
is
thing.
perfect. I mean, I own the PlayStation VR, right?
Yeah.
Like, I love the VR. I absolutely love it. Anything that gets you up and moving, for me, is great. The Kinect was ahead of its time. R.I.P. Kinect.
Yes.
But a lot of their games were very neat. Like, there was one game, the only actual game that I played, because, again, we were talking about this before, I didn't want to put people's headsets on my head, because one, I
that's
was
the
already
only-
sweating.
I don't quite know how sanitary those kind of
Yeah.
things can be, because I own the Oculus, like I was saying, and the foam ring that goes around it can get pretty disgusting.
Pretty disgusting,
quick.
yeah.
Pretty quick. So it is one of those I would be fearful of wearing, going to a convention center jam packed with people, and waiting in line to wear be the 900th person to wear somebody's sweaty VR rig. But yeah, no, I love the idea of seeing these new games, and I've heard of Level Up before through my cousin who is in game development right now.
Yeah.
So I've heard of it, and it sounds like it's a very interesting spot. It sounds like a lot of great concepts, and people come out of that and
Absolutely.
start working for these different companies, which is definitely really cool. It's awesome that it's happening in Toronto.
Yeah, it
This
was
is
just
a Toronto
downtown
thing.
too, so it was actually super easy for people to show up, right? Like, I actually had a hard time finding the damn place, but because the number system downtown, I guess just wasn't good.
Yeah.
But other than that, though, like it was like once you got in, it was a nice, well organized event. But yeah, it was fun just to go and see what new ideas are out there.
Yeah.
I have no game making experience ever.
Neither do I.
The only thing that I can provide is like I wish there was this in the game as a consumer.
Yeah, as the player. Yeah.
Yeah, which I did. You know, everybody wanted that, and I'm
Of
like,
course,
this is perfect, right?
Because these are the people, like we were talking about earlier with big companies and stuff. These are the people that do care.
yeah,
That's all they care about.
That's
They don't. For most people, I mean, you're gonna get a few people that are gonna want to be. I want to sell 1 million copies of my game that I made for school. That's not gonna happen.
Yeah.
What you're doing in these places is you just want people that play your game to enjoy it.
Yes.
To have fun and to maybe tell somebody like, I tried this game and it was really cool. They're not looking for. They're just looking to see if what they're creating is on the right. They're on the right track.
yeah,
So that's I like that. I like the idea of being in a place where the experience matters more than anything else.
yeah.
And
Absolutely.
that's for these kids, and I guess I shouldn't say kids too. For these adults and for these
Yeah.
people, that's what they want. They want to see people playing their games. It's a dream of theirs that to make a game. They want to see people enjoying themselves. That's
Yeah.
all they care about.
Yeah, and it was funny because judges were walking around in the time slot I was in.
Yeah.
So every time I got to a game, I felt like the judges were following me because they would stop me and they would be like, "Judges are here," and I'd go, "Do I leave? Like
Yeah,
I
I
was
don't know
here
what that
first.
means.
What does that
Yeah.
mean? Like, should I play it for you or like what's going on?" But then like the one that they actually kicked me out of was the one that won first place.
Oh, really?
And I was playing it. It was a first-person shooter in like an arena style that had like you could grapple around. I was literally every time I was playing these games, I was trying to break them.
It's a good idea. I mean, I'm sure they like that too. Like they like that, seeing how what can break their game.
Yeah.
I'm sure nobody had a problem with that.
Honestly, though, it was a great experience. If anything, people should just go out and try and find these things. If you're a video game player, go out and do this stuff, right? Like it's fun for networking. You bring your friends. Like, of course, it was free.
Yeah.
And you get to play free games and talk to the actual developers, right? So don't be shy, right? Like you're there to be like, you know, when I'm sitting down and I'm playing The Division, I'm going, this is stupid. Why isn't no one figuring this out yet? Right? Like it's like having that person's ear, and then they could be like, oh yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Or they can come back and saying, we thought of that, but we didn't do this because of this. And then
It breaks this part. or
yeah,
something,
and then
yeah.
you go, oh, I'm not the master of the universe because I think I play video games, right?
Yeah.
Like there's reasons for this.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I enjoyed it. I think people should go. You should definitely go next time.
Yeah, no, I
When we
would
get it
definitely
going.
like to check it out, but I guess I'm gonna have to wait till next year.
You have to wait till next year.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. That's not too bad. All right. What else here is next on the thing? Oh, I guess quickly. Just I guess we'll finish off the video game portion. The Switch is making a smaller version and a pro version.
Well, it's I don't know if it's a confirmed report. It's just a report that's out there. I don't know if it actually.
I guarantee you that's what's coming.
It will come. I mean, it's pretty safe to assume that it's coming. But yeah, no, I've heard two different models. One being a smaller model that is more portable and more affordable, which is coming out soon. That's supposed to be sometime this year. And they're also aiming at a more beefier version that can play higher resolution.
Skyrim.
Yeah, basically to bring Skyrim and stuff like that in.
Back from the dead.
So they want to try it, which is interesting because it seems like Microsoft for the longest time, not Microsoft, sorry, Nintendo, for the longest time has been the company that is, we know what we have.
Yeah.
We're not trying to make the game that pushes your graphics card to the highest it can be and it's ultra realistic. We know where we lie. We lie in these colorful, fun Mario, Donkey Kong, like these worlds, the Kirby's and things like that. So it's interesting to see that they are trying to push that way. I'm interested to see if it's more so that they can get more hardcore games to maybe port to the system to bring in a more mature adult audience for the Switch.
Yeah.
Or if it's because they have designs for, taking Zelda or Mario or something in a different way and they want more power, more beef to power this stuff. So it'll be interesting to see. I'm not at all adverse to companies making... I love me powerful consoles. So give me an upgrade. I've never had a Switch myself. I do enjoy the Marios and the Kirbys and things like that, and I do like the idea of the Switch being portable and being able to play it like an old school style, like almost like a Game Boy, just with a big screen. I like that idea. So I would be very interested to see a beefed up console, but I don't know what they're gonna do with it.
The thing for me is there's no games that I would want.
Yeah.
Other than Let's Go Pikachu, because I'm a huge Pikachu fan. Detective Pikachu's coming out. Can't wait. Already got my midnight tickets.
Oh,
I'm not lying. I literally bought tickets already. Other than that, though, it's like, what other game do I personally want other than Pokemon Sword and Shield?
See, I would like to try Mario Odyssey.
Okay. Those are games that are already running on the initial Switch. So what would the Pro version do for these old games?
Okay, if you're saying going that way, yeah, I can see that. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like it would be. It's either they have ideas for next versions of their games, or like a next generation version of a Nintendo game. But I don't know. I don't know if that's what it is, or it could very well be to get games like Skyrim, like those games that are constantly ported to everything but the Switch. It could be just to bring those games in. Like that could be all that this is to finally be able to get those first-person shooter-y type games and stuff like that. The more mature games that have better graphics that the Nintendo can't quite keep up with. I think it's maybe to get those people involved.
Well, I mean, we also have to remember that apparently, and I don't know if this is 100% confirmed yet, though, Microsoft Game Pass is supposed to be coming to the Switch.
Microsoft Game Pass?
Yeah. So the Xbox Game Pass is supposed to be, coming over to the Switch. I'm pretty sure that's what I read on the report. And so that would mean, though, that you would need a much stronger device to run those games.
Like, way stronger. That seems crazy to me.
And it could just be that it's like it's just taking from a server, like just down, streaming it.
Yeah.
But that could just be it. I mean, again, we'll have to see. I'm going to assume that all this is going to be coming out at E3. Even though PlayStation doesn't have a conference this year, even though they have the PS5 details coming out, I think a lot of things are going to be coming out into the light for E3. I mean, even Star Wars, the Jedi Fallen Empire.
I think this E3 is probably going to be a bit of a lull year because this is that year between new consoles. So I don't think there's going to be anything really talked about.
Yeah, okay.
I think next E3 is going to be where all the next gen games come. Like you're going to get that's where I think Sony's taking this year off because they know we're at the end of the PS4. Like we're coming into the PS5. We don't have anything that we can really show people for the PS5 yet. So there's no point, and we're kind of done with the PS4. Like we don't have a ton of stuff coming out in a year or two. That's what E3 is now. It feels like E3 does feel like it's for games coming out 2 to 3 years from now. We always want it to be like, oh, it's coming out soon because it's at E3. No, they're showing you really cool stuff to keep you hooked for the next couple of years.
Yeah,
like that's most of these big games that are shown at E3 are shown multiple times because they get pushed back and pushed back and pushed back and pushed back. So I think this is just a mid-year. I think this is going to be a bit of a lull year, and that's why Sony just went, you know what, we're not even going to try. And I think they're confident. They know that once we have the PS5, trust me, we're going to be ready to show you some PS5 stuff. But we don't want to until we're ready to show you PS5
But the PS5, from what the reports are saying, is supposed to be backwards compatible for PS4.
Yeah.
So why then would at E3 they not show games for PS4?
Which I don't think we have a lot of new PS4 games in
development. You just don't think anything's.
I don't think anything
in the pipeline
interesting. Like E3 levels of interesting, I don't think is in development.
You mean
new
FIFA
IPs?
Soccer 2020 is not interesting for you?
You're gonna get that stuff. You're gonna get the lower level stuff, but you're not gonna get a new Spider-Man. You're not gonna get a new thing. Those are new God of War. You're not getting anything like that. And that's where Sony, for the last few years, have been cleaning up, it feels like, in
Yeah, it's
E3
true.
with their lineup
Spider-Man, God of War.
Oh,
all that fun stuff.
that E3 a year or two ago where they showed the Shadow of the Colossus, not Shadow of the Colossus,
Use your words.
The Last Guardian
Wasn't that a Nintendo game?
I think
Oh no, Last Guardian. Oh yeah, you're
with
right.
the giant
Yeah,
dog,
the giant
and
dog,
the one
yeah,
that's
yeah,
been people have wanted to come out for
Right.
30 years. that one specifically, that E3 had for Sony had just boom, 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 like huge announcements.
Yeah.
It was crazy. And then it always feels like Microsoft kind of starts talking about the technical, and they start doing the Forza stuff that, like, unless you're a major Forza car guy,
Yeah.
I don't really care about. Sony really feels like when they go big for gamers. Like we're dealing with gamers,
Right.
not Microsoft seems more of multimedia.
Well, it's
Remember a few years ago they had that. They tried to make the big new, like, you could watch TV and do this to do TV with the Kinect and
But
everything.
in all fairness, though, that was a huge switch because it was PlayStation that started off with we're for everybody,
Yeah.
right? And then Xbox was we're for gamers. Here's
Yes.
Gears of War,
Yep.
bang 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 bang. Now
and then
it's
Sony hit a few IPs out of the park
Yeah.
that became smash hits.
Yeah.
That now you can just use those as your tent poles almost.
Yeah, and where it's now because it's like, well, no one uses Blu-rays anymore, so we don't really care.
And
about
like
that
God of War
technology.
fandom seems like it's gone.
Really?
I feel like the fandom that it was when
It was a
Gears
huge
came
game.
out.
It was a
Like
huge
I would
game.
even say Halo. The fandom of Halo has died from what it was.
I-
Halo 3 was one of the. I mean, all of Halo, but Halo 3, Halo 1, 2, especially 3 though, seemed like they were huge for their time. Like the biggest game. You want to talk about video games? We're going to talk about Halo.
Yeah.
Like and Gears of War. And then but I don't find that anymore. You find that now for different, I would say, for more Sony's products. Your Spider-Mans, the God of Wars, a lot of that's in the new hotness kind of thing.
Right.
The new stuff that people want.
But like the Spider-Mans, the God of Wars, those were reboots, right? In a sense, right? Or like very long continuations. Halo, and I was talking to my buddy again about this. He's a huge Xbox fan, right? He doesn't play PlayStation. I'm the PlayStation guy. He's the Xbox guy.
Yeah.
So every time we talk about an Xbox game, he keeps me in the loop. Crackdown 3, Forza, Halo. To him and all of his friends, they don't play like Halo 5 anymore because there was nothing that was improved. The story was meh, right, for them. And then the online...
Because Xbox, you're right. I mean, it's switched.
Yeah.
Microsoft has become. We want the game, or a broad range of games
Yeah.
that can go for everyone.
They've now said to the casual...
Sony, yeah, they're looking for casual fans. Sony is no. We want the people that are gonna go online and read up on the story and learn about the characters. We're looking for that class of gamer with a lot of their big things now. It seems like they want the hardcores, the guys that are gonna spend the money day one pre-orders.
I mean, it's just that Sony was good at making a narrative for a game, right? Like God of War, I haven't played it yet.
Neither have
I
I.
really want to. God of War, though, was a huge narrative game. The combat system was apparently very good, right? So it all worked out. Where Spider-Man, right? Huge open world game. I got to watch my brother play it a lot. He loved that
I
game, and
loved it.
he's a huge Spider-Man
Yeah.
fan, right? And when I was watching him play it, I saw glee on his face, right?
And I thoroughly enjoyed that game.
Yeah.
I thought it was phenomenal.
Where
Didn't want to put it down. They really came up with a. I mean, it might just be the being Spider-Man, like just the elements of Spider-Man is
Yeah.
a perfect video game type character.
Yeah.
Because it was just
it was a well done Spider-Man.
everything. I wanted to keep playing. It was
Yeah.
just, I'm going to do this next. It's right over here. I'm just going to swing over into this one. And then you finish that one and be like, oh, well, there's one over there. I'm going to do this now. Like, yeah. And I play for hours. So they really did hit that, I would
Yeah.
say.
I mean, I'm the same with the Division. I'm playing the Division right now. I got it for sale. I've wanted to play this game since day one, and I probably should have looked into what problems they had at the beginning because it was one of those, like, very early on, had a huge release, but then was crap. And then Ubisoft was like, oh crap, we got to listen to this.
Yeah.
And then they fixed everything, and now it's a really good game. And Division 2 just came out and was a huge success, and they're listening and they're pulling out patches and everything. And I'm playing the Division, and even though it's kind of empty now on the servers, even if I'm playing with my brothers, with like a group of 4, I'm just running around, and it's just like, oh, there's a group of 2 enemies. I'm just gonna go up there and shoot them both in the face, and then go grab that cell phone that I find over there. And it's like, I don't know why, but it keeps me in, right? Because it has that story, it has the narrative, it has the lore, it even has the gameplay.
Their, what would that be called? Their not demo period, their trial or whatever, beta, beta for it. And I actually got into the beta for it. I got to play it, and I didn't love it. I liked the idea of the game. I did like that it was, I can play this by myself, and still enjoy it and everything. But yeah, I didn't love it because it just felt like, what am I playing? I know there is end game content and stuff, but those games just don't feel like, what am I playing for?
Yeah.
Other than to play with my friends and have fun in the moment with my friends. But I like to play games alone.
Yeah.
So if there's no like cool story moments or anything, I don't really care what I'm doing. The gameplay is more to have fun with and work together with your friends.
Yeah.
So I was never. I'm not a huge fan of the Division.
Okay, that's fair. It's not for everybody.
But I do like
MMO.
That kind of game idea. I guess I did say that I'm not a big Anthem fan though either. I don't know.
What are you? That's what I want to know.
I like single player games.
Oh,
I
okay.
love single player games. Single player story games. I mean, not even single player, just more narrative focused games. One of my favorite games from the last couple of years was that A Way Out. The two-player, like movie type game.
Yeah.
Me and my cousin, we sat down, we played the whole thing from non-stop, because it was only like a 4 or 5 or 6 hour game. And it was so much fun, because it was completely, like, it was made for co-op. It was made, everything you would think about, like, as a game player, be like, I wonder if I do this or this. They thought about those things. So there was always, so I love games that are story driven and make me like a character and want to project or propel this character through the story, as opposed to a lot of these Division type games. It's more, you want to propel the story because you want to keep playing with your friends.
Yeah.
So I prefer, really narrative driven stuff.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I mean that's just a different portion of video games, right?
Yeah.
And that's fun.
Exactly. Lately it feels like everything is going the Fortnite model. How can we get people here with battle passes? And
do not get me into Fortnite or whatever. I can't deal with it. I can't take it. I don't like that.
That's the ultimate in games of, like, if you haven't been playing since Fortnite came out, why are you starting to play Fortnite?
Yeah.
There's no point. There's no matchmaking. There's no, I'm going to play with people that have never played before.
Yeah.
No, you're playing with guys that have been playing 10 hours a day, it feels like, since it came out.
Yep.
Where's the fun in that? I get it if you're doing it as a career and like
a career?
You consider it a sport.
Okay.
And you're an esports like person. I get that. That's how you have fun and you're getting paid. Like, that's your career.
Yeah.
But I'm a player. I just want to play.
Yeah.
I just want to come home from work. I want to relax for an hour or two. I don't want to have to worry about, like, oh man, I didn't get to play yesterday, or the other thing, I'm going to suck today. Like, I just want to play games.
I totally understand, and I agree with you 100%. I think we should take away a little stab away from video games and movies, and let's talk about some theater world. What's going on in the theater world today, especially in Toronto? We can go through this, but I actually want to focus on you first, Mark. You are actually going to be in a play soon / eventually.
Yep.
Tell us about that.
I'm doing a show. It's a small theater, Black Horse Theater, community theater at up near Tottenham. Mm-hmm. We're doing 2 shows, 2 one-act shows by Norm Foster, called My Narrator and The Death of Us.
Oh, okay.
They're both very funny shows. I'm working with a great cast. I'm very excited about it. I haven't been on stage in a while. I've been since school and everything. I've been really working on film and stuff like
Yeah.
that. So I like being back on the stage.
It's a different ball game.
It just feels more fun. You get more rehearsal time. There's more time to build relationships
Less
with
technical.
people.
It's just more fun.
Yeah, well, there's more time to build relationships with people,
Yeah.
which I like. It's not just walking into this on set and going, all right, hi, my name is
Yeah.
Mark.
Stand here for an hour.
Yeah, and then I'm now going to stand across from you, and we're going to be husband and wife, and we're gonna love it. Like, I like that. Like,
Yeah.
I'm working on we're doing the 2 shows, like I say. So I'm heavily involved in my narrator show.
Okay.
So I'm working with another young woman, Joanne, and it's a lot of fun to take that time to sort of build a relationship. I mean, we've known each other we've worked together in the past, so that helps as well. But to be able to take weeks and weeks and time to really go over everything, and we've got a great director that wants to break everything down and go through every little thing, and so to build the real connection with somebody is really nice to do. That's why I've always liked theater more than film. It's just lately my career brain is go to film because that seems to be
That's where everything's happening.
yeah,
right? That's where it is.
Right
That's
now.
where.
But theater it's so much more fun. It's sad that it's a sort of dying art. That it's nowhere near as popular as it once was now with movies and stuff.
I don't know if it's dying, but it's kind of
It's you know what I mean.
on
Like
a
it's
standstill.
not almost dead or anything.
Yeah.
But it is
I mean,
nowhere
Broadway
near
is
what it
huge,
was.
right?
But is it?
Is it not?
outside of Hamilton and Book of Mormon, like the big name shows, I don't know. Are people talking about off Broadway shows really as much as they used to, kind
Right.
of thing? Like I don't know any. Like I think the main show, just like everything, just like with movies, what's really popular is the big event thing.
Right. Yeah.
The Hamilton, Book of Mormon.
Don't be knocking my
Hey,
Hamilton.
Cats is
Don't be
coming
knocking
back.
my
Like,
Hamilton.
They're bringing all these, especially in Toronto. I think I've seen them. We're bringing Cats back, The
Yeah.
Lion King,
Yeah.
Phantom of the Opera. These big ones, like everything that's big and well known, those are what's popular right now. But small stuff, small theater is not there. I think is struggling a lot.
Okay, I'll agree with you.
Outside of the acting community.
Outside the acting
The
community.
acting community,
we go to everything. We go to things.
you try and support each other,
Yeah.
kind of thing. But yeah, I don't think nearly as many people are going to the theater as they were even 10, 15 years ago.
Yeah.
And then it's scary to think before, like, even movies and shit and stuff were a thing.
Yeah.
To think of when that happened, how that was the only way to get entertainment. Could you imagine living up in that era without television? The only way to get entertainment is to go see a live show.
I mean, it's called
I think-
reading. Crack a book sometime, Mark.
No, but you know what I mean. I don't read books. You know that. But yeah, you know what I mean. Like to think about that time where that was all you could do. You want
Yeah.
to go and get some kind of.
You want to get away from it all.
What we think of sitting down and watching a movie on Netflix or a show or anything. That was no. You have to go out and do that.
Yeah.
You have to go out for and go watch a live show. It does make you wish or pine for the days of old.
I mean, I think it depends on the show itself, right? Because
Yep.
I went to go see a show, I think last month. One of my good friends was in a show, and when we got there, it was a show that someone written that was in the play, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they wrote it, they produced it, and then they put it on. And the show was about, back in Canada, I think during like World War II or World War I, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then it was about how Canada treated these immigrants during this time. And then, looking around, obviously it was all old people, but that was because they were more close to that time frame. And I think that is where theater really shines, is it gives then a projection out to people to come in and kind of relive this either history or be able to come close to one another. Yes, we can talk about the bigger shows like Dear Evan Hansen, right, which is now in Toronto and is now being performed. But it's like, those are big for a reason, right? Like, there's a lot of kids and a lot of adults that have kids, that really, it resonates with them. And, every time I listen to Dear Evan Hansen, I cry.
Well, I find it kind of sad that we're going back over the classics. We're going back. We're getting Cats again. We're getting, like I said.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Like
We're beating them over the head until they
for
come
people
back.
that don't see theater.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of people. There's a ton of people that have probably never in their life seen a show, any kind of theater show, unless it was something they were watching on a TV screen or something.
Oh yeah, okay.
Like no one, like, there's a lot of people that have never gone to a live theater performance, and the stuff that you can do in theater is incredible, and it's hard to explain because when you go and watch, like, oh, what is that? And then you look up clips of theater. Watching theater on a screen doesn't work. You
No.
can't, it does not translate, and that's, I think, the big problem for theater is because everyone wants to. I gotta look something up. Like
Right.
I want to see a clip of it or something.
Yeah.
It doesn't translate. It does not translate on the screen. It looks fake. You're gonna
Yeah.
go, oh, this looks dumb. Like, this looks hokey. And sure, it does, because you're used to seeing what you see on the screen is as hyper realistic as possible. But when you're actually there, and you're in that space, and you're under the lights, and you're in that environment, the story, like with the storytelling, is amazing. Like, it's incredible. It's an incredible experience that I think everybody should have. And the ability to tell new and interesting stories like the Dear Evan Hansons and things is something that should hopefully bring people back to the theater, because it is a completely different experience. I don't think a film version of Dear Evan Hansen would have the same resonance.
Are you talking like a non-musical Dear Evan Hansen?
Even a musical version. I think a film version wouldn't capture the same thing that a film, just like film captures things better in some aspects,
Right.
action stuff. Theater really captures human emotion, I think, a bit better than film does, because it's more real, more visceral. It's
Right.
more what you're getting is what it is. Whereas film, you could be watching a really emotional scene and not realize that was filmed. That 1 minute of heavy emotional was filmed over 6 hours, and it's taken from a bunch of different. You're
right.
getting that real visceral. You're getting, it feels, for me anyways. I could be wrong. And this is somebody who has done theater my entire life, so I've been in theater, and I've watched a lot of theater, so I can see someone who's never listened to theater listen to me and be like, what the fuck is he talking about? He's just an idiot. He likes theater.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I really do. The times that, especially when I was younger, when I saw things when I first saw The Lion King, even when I was really young, I loved it. I was on the edge of my seat. I loved that show. It was incredible. Theater does things. I remember when I went to Mayfield, my high school. The first year I went, they do big shows every year. They were an art school, so they did big productions. And the first year I went, they did Sound of Music was their show that year, their musical, and I loved it. It was incredible. They had this huge, crazy set and a huge band, because it's a school of the arts, right? So the music students that are there for music are now going to spend the next 6 months working on Sound of Music. Like, it felt like a real production. It's so much so that I brought my parents. I was like, Mom, you need to come watch this. Like, this is amazing. Like, I really love this. And I mean, it was a school show. I'm sure she watched it and was like, it's good. But there was something about theater just so, when it's well done, it's incredible. It's something you'll never see on the screen.
Okay, but Mark, remember, we have to now understand that you're saying that, going to a show, it's captivating. It's like nothing you've ever seen, right?
Yeah.
It changes per production, or changes per revenue.
Yeah.
And then, though, once it leaves, right, you might have been able to see it, but someone else might have not.
Yeah.
So when it comes back, though, they're not trying to pander to you. They're now trying to go towards that person that didn't get to see it the first time. I didn't get to go see Phantom of the Opera the first 15 times it was in Toronto, right? A good friend of mine says her and her parents go see it every time it's here. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. She's like, I've probably seen it 4 times. I'm like, that's cool, right? My mom has already seen it before.
Yeah.
And then when we saw it for the first time, me personally, I finally saw it live, because I used to watch the Gerard Butler film for like countless times, right? I'm a huge musical guy. And then when I actually got to go see it, I loved it. It was absolutely great. But then my mom would go like, the set wasn't as good as last time.
That's my mom. Actually, is hilariously enough has saw Phantom of the Opera when it first came to Toronto.
Oh,
or whatever,
yeah.
And she jokes about she's seen it probably 3 times over the course, and she jokes about the first time she saw it was incredible.
See?
The actor that played the Phantom was so good, and the things they did. And so she talks about how, like, when it comes back and, like, we go see it, it was good. It was really good. But it just wasn't quite.
That's the thing. It's
like, that's
not
why
for her.
I was always worried about Book of Mormon.
Okay.
Because Book of Mormon, you're not getting the Josh Gad.
And Andrew Reynolds.
Like that cast.
Yeah.
You're getting the Toronto cast or wherever you're seeing it, right? So I'm always worried that it's like, okay, well, that's not necessarily then directed by Trey Parker and Matt Stone.
Right.
That's going to be a Toronto director trying to capture the essence of a Trey Parker and a Matt Stone. So I'm always worried about that kind of stuff. It's like, oh, it's not going to be good. No. But no, I don't know.
But I think, though, that's because obviously we're not going to get Josh Gad and Andrew Reynolds, right? We can't. It's live performance. So we get the people from Toronto, right?
And that's
we have to support
another
those
part
people.
of the interesting thing of theater is with different casts.
It's a different show.
It's a totally different show.
Right? And that's the funny thing, though, about those comedy shows. You and I went to go see Cannibal the Musical.
Yeah.
Right? Our good teacher, Mark Andrada, he was in it. Right, and he actually, he helped write some of the special bits, and one of those bits was, "Do you want to build a snowman?" Which apparently was in it beforehand, but it wasn't to the tune though of Frozen, which was big at the time. So they were able to change it and make it more relevant and make it better. Where where me and my girlfriend, we were watching Wayne's World. She didn't get any of it because it was set in the early 90s, late 80s or somewhere around there.
Well, set because it was made.
It was made there. For me, I got it. And I didn't get some of the jokes because obviously I wasn't around back then. So, but her coming, from a different country, she was like, I'm sorry, I don't get it. Like, none of these jokes land with me. And it's one of those things where it's a new era, new time, new jokes for people. Right, and we have to
updating things. Yeah, and, totally.
Other than Phantom, which can't do that, Lion King, which can't do that, because those are all solid performances and scripts
and staples, right? They're like the staples of the theater world.
Exactly,
the Phantoms and the Lion Kings.
Where though, if you're gonna go see something like West Side Story or any sort of like comedy show, they might be able to tweak it here and there based on relevance of what's new and what's funny. Right? Like, I saw Book of Mormon, and I loved it. I thought it was hilarious. Though, when they're talking about those people in hell, right? You got Hitler, you got Genghis Khan, all those people. Those are relevant.
Yeah.
But then when you got, who was the guy, though, the one with the glove? What's his name? You know the guy I'm talking about.
No, I don't. I know who you're talking about, but I don't know the name.
Yeah, him, that guy, right? Like, that, to me, though, is going to get old very quickly. Like, next generation of people are going to go, I don't know who that is. And then it's going to go, well, that joke was flat. So then they need to then reinvent these type of things. Like, Book of Mormon is a fantastic show. I've seen a lot of clips online from Andrew Reynolds and
But
Josh
I'd also
Gad.
like to see new stuff. That's what we were saying at the beginning there. I like the idea of people think that theater is played out. We've done everything that you can do.
Nothing is new under the sun.
I don't believe that, though. I believe that there is, especially now that our world views are changing. I think there is totally there's a ton of room in theater for new stories and new ways of telling stories that haven't been done ever before. Like, there's all kinds of. We need like a Jordan Peele almost of theater. Like, you need somebody who is going to come in and write these incredible theater dynamic changing.
We had that. You've already said it. It was the first play. It was the first musical you threw out at me. It was Hamilton, Lin-Manuel Miranda.
True. Yeah.
He put this rap and historical rap into the musical sound, the stage, and you now you kind of just swept it underneath the carpet, going like, it's now beat under the bush, and it's it's true. It was a very huge.
But we need
musical.
more of that.
We do need more of that, and he should come back to
because
stage.
that's a good, like I said, that's a good example then of theater being updated properly and being able to tell a new story and bring in a new audience.
Yeah.
So I'm not a huge Hamilton because I'm not a big rap guy.
Hamilton.
Yeah, even though it's like actual thoughtful rap and things.
Yeah.
I just wasn't a huge fan of that idea, and I don't really care about Alexander Hamilton and American politics. But yeah, that you're right. You are right. I will give you that. You are absolutely right. That we need more of that. We need more, and there's tons of room for that. So it would be nice to see, because we're starting to see that fatigue in film and TV with the same stories being told, because the medium is very expansive. You can do a lot, but we're hitting a threshold. And I think no one has circled back on theater in a long time, other than your things like Lin-Manuel.
Yeah.
It would be nice to see that, to see people swing back towards it and see if they can find a new way to tell stories on stage.
Okay. Well, to that note then, let's talk about a news story then. Talk about your play. I want to hear it. I'm sure everybody else that's listening wants to hear it as well. What's the story? Give us the breakdown. Who do you play? What's the characters? What's the story?
So I'm in the show My Narrator. I play the character of Miles.
Okay.
It's Miles and Lacey, and the whole point is it's this two people that meet. They're sort of an oddball couple. He's a foot in his mouth kind of guy. Doesn't say the right things. Not very socially aware. And he meets this woman, Lacey, who has a narrator, has decided that she wants a voice in her head making the decisions for her and guiding her, as opposed to letting herself do everything. So she's got and it's a physical representation. It's a physical person. Barb. Her name is Barb. Her narrator is called Barb. So it's a love story, basically, of these two people meeting and trying to connect while trying to work past the voice in their head. The voices in your head are telling you different things. It's a cute story. It's a cute love story. I definitely enjoy working on it right now. We've got a few more weeks to go, I would say, of rehearsal. I think it's in June.
Okay.
We are performing.
Nice.
3 weekends in June, if anyone's interested.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm excited.
Cool.
I'm excited.
Okay.
I've never played this kind of character before. I'm usually more of like a comedic relief kind of character, so I'm interested to explore this kind of aspect. You get that sort of uncomfortableness of trying to open up and everything. So it's been a lot of fun.
Okay, so to touch on your character and on the other version of you, you play as a narrator. Right?
No, I'm the man that
you're the actual physical person. Yeah. Okay, so then you're the person that is telling you things. Mm-hmm. Are they, without spoiling the whole thing? If you can't talk about it, that's fine.
No. We actually spent at least a day or two on trying to define the parameters of this whole thing.
Yeah. What actual instructions is your inner thoughts giving you? Are they good instructions, or are they bad instructions? Are we talking about that whole devil and angel on your shoulder?
It's a sort of a mix of both.
Okay.
They're giving, for me, my character, I'm a very sort of foot in your mouth, like I said, kind of guy. I say the wrong things. He's kind of always letting himself down, letting people down. Kind of that sort of a bit of a loser. So he wants a narrator to try and make me into more of a man, make me a better person.
Right.
Whereas her narrator is there to try and stop her from making bad decisions.
Okay.
So I have a narrator. I learn about her narrator, and then I end up creating my own. And I like it because we don't get to. They're on stage with us, but we can't look at them.
Okay.
Like they're not physically in the world with our characters.
Right, they're in your head.
Yes,
but
they're in our
on
head.
stage.
Yeah,
yeah.
Like that's where a lot of the comedy is coming from, is the fact that they're on stage, but they're in our head, like in our characters' minds. There's been challenges because they have long monologues at some point where we're in the middle of a conversation, me and Lacey.
Yeah.
Miles and Lacey are in a conversation, and then middle of the line, they'll have a bit of our internal dialogue where we've had to decide or try to figure out, is this, while I'm listening to my internal dialogue for this whole time, is this just dead air? Is this a weird? And there's a few moments that are used for the comedic aspect of that, which I like. So yeah, it's a great show. There's all kinds of little ups and downs and things, and it ties both shows together. The Death of Me is the other show that we're working on.
Okay.
That one's about a guy dying, going up to heaven, and learning about what they do with people after you've died.
Oh.
And he actually gets the chance to go back to Earth and try to talk to one or two people and
back to Earth,
make things right in
Love
the
it.
world. So yeah, they flow narratively together. It's 2 one-act plays, like I said. So it's gonna be a lot of fun.
Awesome. I love it. It sounds really good.
Yeah. What about you? What are you working on?
Right now, I'm working on just writing scripts for my own stuff.
Yeah.
I got a few stuff in the pipeline.
Oh, very nice.
When I have them more thought out, I'll be happy to bring them out. I mean, I guess no one's really going to steal them, I guess, if we talk about them.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I mean, that'd be a dick move. Don't do that. But I guess right now, one of the stories that I'm working on is actually, it's modern day, right? And now picture that there's, a daughter and a woman and her mother, right? So the daughter herself doesn't know her father. Father passed away before she was born. On her 18th birthday, she actually gets powers. And she's able to go through time. So she wants to use that time to go and meet her father. But when she does that, though, stuff starts to go out of hand, and some people might get into it and might actually then start to get physical in terms of like bad guys.
Yeah.
So I don't want to give anything away until it's all 100% hashed out, but that's what I'm working on currently.
Yeah, very nice.
Okay, so now that that's done, do you have anything you want to plug at the moment? I mean, you just plugged your...
Yeah, nothing really. I mean, yeah, other than my show.
Okay, perfect.
We're working on that. Like I say, it's the Black Horse Theater. We're going to be doing shows in June, I believe, the first couple weekends in June.
Okay.
Tickets will be on sale eventually if anyone is interested. I believe you just go to either Black Horse Theater, look that up on the Googs.
Nice.
And they should have a website. If not, they will have a number, like a box office number that you can call to get tickets. It's a very quaint, small theater, which is nice.
Yeah.
I think capacity is only like 100 people or like a couple, maybe 200 people. It's very small, which is really nice. I'm
Cool.
looking forward to it. It's going to be a lot of fun. I feel awesome getting back out on the stage. It's been a long time.
It'll be great seeing you on stage.
Yeah. No, I'm looking forward to it. I've probably said that 15 times in the last 10 minutes.
You're
But
desperate.
yeah,
It's like crack.
I'm
Okay.
looking forward to it.
It's like crack. All right. Well, for anyone else that's listening in the audience and you want to go see a show, there's a couple shows going around in Toronto. I mean, you can go check out Soul Pepper, Factory Theater. Let's see what we got. Let's see what's going on right now. Soul Pepper, Copenhagen, right? It looks like it was coming out April 6th to April 28th. Go check that out. You got some other ones coming up. Beautiful Man from Factory Theater. That one sounds interesting. That one's May 4th to May 26th. You got Comedy Bar, Second City. If you ever want to go check out a show, there's always something to go check out. I love Comedy Bar. Something happening every night.
Yeah, no, Toronto in the last few years has exploded. With opportunities for actors, comedians, for everything. I mean, Netflix is opening or opened?
I think
opening a big production production branch down here in Toronto. Like, there's just so much going on.
Yeah, too much right now.
Yeah,
it's
if you crazy.
But dip your toe in, check it out. I want to say thank you, Mark, for being part of the first ever Actimer podcast.
Yeah, I mean, to be self-deprecating a little bit. I don't know who's really going to listen to this first one, but hey,
I know.
this is our way of getting better and getting into a rhythm and
That's right.
trying to figure out what this whole thing is.
Yeah.
And I'm
Hopefully-
glad we're doing it.
Hopefully someone from Toronto will listen.
You know, it's one of those things. I think I said it in the middle of this somewhere. The first thing you do is never going to be good.
No, absolutely
It's not going to be good. This is probably not that good, but you know what? Who cares? We're gonna keep getting better.
We'll find our rhythm, and we'll get going.
We're gonna keep doing it. We're having fun. I'm trying to get into a sense of. I think for the longest time, my whole thing with acting and all this has been, I want to do stuff that people are gonna like, and and that'll get me. People say he's a good actor. I just want to do stuff now. I'm not doing enough. I just want to do stuff for myself. I want to have fun. I used to be the kind of person that would see actors doing a bunch of different things and be like, oh, they just want attention. They just want to get their name out there so that something might happen. And I'm coming around to the idea of no, people just want to have fun.
Yeah, they just want to
I'm an actor. I just want to do things.
Yeah.
I just want to experience things. I don't necessarily care if it's good or bad, if you enjoy it or not. As long as I'm enjoying myself in the moment, which I have been. I like talking with you. So it's one of those things. We could have 0 listens or mentions or anything,
but it's fun.
Yeah,
Honestly.
I like this kind of stuff, and I encourage more and more people to do stuff like this because you got to start somewhere.
Yeah.
And my hope I'm 28, and
You're old.
I am, and I've been sitting around trying to go. I need to start doing something, but if it's not a good thing, then what's the point?
Yeah.
Whereas I'm hit a point in my life where I just want to do things. I just want to see what happens.
Yeah.
Throw it against the wall, see what sticks.
Yeah.
And maybe this leads to something else. Maybe
Yeah.
this doesn't turn into something, and maybe we find something else.
Honestly, too, like if you're actually listening to this and you're in that rut, don't push yourself too hard. Let it come to you.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like, I mean, this came to me because I like to entertain people, and even like when I was at the Level Up thing, I was being myself, which is, stupid, angry video game player.
Very important.
And people were laughing while I was playing. And I'm like, I like to entertain, but not to the point where it's like I entertain for my benefit. I entertain just because I want to see you happy.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to get the stuff out there. And I think this is what this really was for. Actimer, and I'm going to keep the mystery alive for why it's called Actimer. But I think we'll keep that there.
We'll
put it there.
thick mystery. There's
thick
so many
mystery.
layers that you have
Don't
to unravel.
Think
and
about it. All right?
Because whoa, write it down. Your head'll explode. Because what does that mean?
Shut up, Mark. All right. Thank you so much for listening to us.
Yeah,
this was our first ever
If anyone is
podcast.
listening.
Please go to Instagram. We're there, Actimer Official. I've set us up, as well as created our own YouTube account, which is also Actimer Official.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
Thank
we're
you
gonna
so much.
keep working, and we'll see you guys again.
Bye-bye.